Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, September 17th. I'm Jimmy Prince with the details. Opposition leader Anna Eustace is calling for some form of recompense for students who would have successfully completed associate degrees at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College. Speaking at a press briefing today, Mr. Eustace raised the issue of the college's associate degree programs not being accredited and not being recognized by the University of the West Indies. He said this means students who would have wasted their money to do the programs when they are worth nothing.
Is not accredited. That means it counts for nothing. You can't get any time off in the university, and people not accepting it as part of your qualifications because you can't get in to UWI with the associate degree. You can't get in because it is not recognized, it's not, the institution is not accredited. And that's what that means. Say we have another 1,000 people in St. Vincent whose parents have struggled, they themselves have struggled, get associate degrees, and then wrote nothing. Wrote absolutely nothing. 2 years of your life gone. The money to cover all the costs associated with that your life gone. And your parents now have to face the reality, and you have to face the reality that a waste 2 years. This is a deadly serious matter. And I'm amazed that this is happening.
Meanwhile, the director at the community college, Nigel Scott, declined to comment on the matter. He told SVG Television News the institution will be making a comment in the not-too-distant future. Meanwhile, Eustace is claiming that the large amount of money is paid for rental by the former National Commercial Bank, now the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is partly responsible for its demise. According to the opposition leader, the bank paid as much as 11.8 million EC dollars to National Properties in rent for the 5 properties it occupied, this excluding the property at Reigate. Mr. Eustace said that the former NCB paid $99,000 for the property at Bedford Square and just over $196,000 per month for all 5 properties.
So before doing earning a cent, the bank was paying close to $2.4 million a year just to rent. So we expect it to be profitable. We expect it to make money. And the bank near the market, the Bedford Switch Bank, plus those in Georgetown and so forth, paid $11.8 million in rent for the 5-year period. Rent, I want to stress that, you know. $11.8 million just for rent alone for the 5-year period. You know, maybe that was the master stroke that we hear so much about.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will have to wait a few more months before it will be able to access promised monies from Mexico. At a media conference yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonzalez says the $13.5 million from Mexico that was included in the supplementary budget earlier this year will no longer be available for spending this year until early 2015.
This particular fund through Banco Mexico, we were not aware at the time that they were putting the money in UN Ops, United Nations operations. So it will take additional time to come through that. So hopefully sometime after the first quarter of next year we should be able to spend that. Though I spoke to a senior engineer in a consultative capacity in the Ministry of Works on Sunday, and he advised me that what they are going to do, because this is going to be the project involving the bridge at Spring, Leeward, and the river training, going all the way up into Hermitage, that some preparatory work they will do from another funding source before the Mexicans are ready to do the job.
Meanwhile, at yesterday's media conference, Prime Minister Gonzalez announced that Cabinet has taken the decision to adjust the requirements of the Hotel Aid Act to allow more persons to enjoy the benefits under the Act.
I just want to say, as a practical matter, if you're going to add on 2 or 3 rooms to your house, you may not get, if you're going to buy the lumber and the galvanized, you're not going to get back the duty-free concession on those here, because the duty would have already been paid on the lumber. But people will no doubt go out to buy their tiles. They'll get could even get their windows or doors if they wish, though that we have a good man here with McDowell glass. The equipment, your TVs, your fridges, your deep freezers, your washing machines and the like, which you'll put in the apartment or apartments. Your furnishings and fixtures. You go away and you pack a container and you bring them in duty free.
An advanced Equatorian party is currently in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to discuss further works to be carried out on 4 major bridges here to the tune of some 11.3 million Eastern Caribbean dollars. Prime Minister Dr. Al Gonzalez told the media on Tuesday that the advanced party arrived in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Monday and was interfacing with the Ministry of Works concerning a number of matters prior to the arrival of the full Ecuadorian contingent.
Bridge, it would be the biggest in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I repeat, the one at Hope, and with some river defense, adjoining river defense, and the 3 Bailey bridges at Kakata, in Fitzhughes, at Plan in Chateaubelair, and up at the Sharps, up in Chateaubelair. The river near to where Sweet Eye currently lives. The final draft memorandum that was sent to me, and between the Ministry of Works and the AG, the Attorney General, they're working with the Ecuadorians to finalize that. There are a few typographical things and so on, translation from Spanish to English, usual things. So I think one of the issues I'm told that they're dealing with right now is to finalize the housing arrangements. I think they have to rent 3 houses in Vermont for about 8 months.
The Bar Association celebrates the opening of the 2014-2015 law year earlier today. To celebrate the event, members of the Bar Association, along with officers from the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force and other invited guests, gathered at the Kingstown Anglican Church for a morning of worship and thanksgiving. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Christian Council's ecumenical service was held under the theme Judicial Independence for a Just and Better Society. In the sermon by the Reverend Canon O. Samuel Nichols, he said in order for the nation to secure a good future, the future generation need to be molded to be able to produce outstanding citizens.
Every act of life, however unimportant, has its influence in forming the character. And a good character is more precious than worldly possessions. And the working and forming public is the noblest thing that we can engage in. Forming character of our young ones, molding them so that they reflect the values that we hold dear is vital.
The ceremony then continued at the High Court of Justice for a special sitting. In more news from the courts, Stephen Woods, a 50-year-old laborer of Byra Hill, is now before the court on a charge of causing grievous bodily harm to his common-law wife, Jocelyn Williams, on Friday, September 12th. He is accused of inflicting a cutlass wound to the left hand of Williams during a dispute. Woods was on Tuesday escorted to the Serious Offences Court before Chief Magistrate Rashawn Brown Matthias. He pleaded not guilty to the charge and was allowed bail in the sum of $5,000 with one surety. He was also ordered to report to the Connery Police Station on Mondays and Fridays between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. The matter has been adjourned and transferred to the Family Court to be heard on September 18, 2014. The fourth Climate Change Seminar hosted by the OECS Secretariat opened here last evening at the NIS Conference Room. The fourth seminar is being held under the theme Approaches to Managing Disaster Risks and Building Resilience. A major output of this seminar will be a portfolio of new ideas for strategies and approaches in managing disaster risks and vulnerabilities, as well as recommendations that will inform policies, plans, and programs for building resilience to extreme events related to climate change. Addressing the opening ceremony, Mission Director of USAID Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Jonathan Conley, gave his organization and government's commitment to continue to partner with small island states in realizing successful climate change adaptation efforts.
He stressed that through cooperative behavior and fostering regional integration, we can help create sustainable economic growth, power a clean energy revolution, and empower people to deal with the negative impacts of climate change. Through strategic partnerships with national, regional, and local government entities in the Eastern and Southern Caribbean, USAID is actively working to reduce the region's vulnerability and increase its resilience to the impacts of climate change. We're providing assistance to increase the capacity of technical and educational institutions in fields such as meteorology, hydrology, and coastal and marine science to improve forecasting and preparation for climate risks. This support includes work with the Center for Resource Management and Environmental Studies at the Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies, and current partnerships with organizations like the World Meteorological Organization and its affiliate, the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology, the government of Barbados, and of course the OECS Commission.
Conley says through the adaptation systems, programs supported by USAID decision makers are provided with the necessary tools to implement climate-smart development projects.
Our focus is on making this information practical so that it targets real issues that people are facing. For example, this past summer, we were able to strengthen the drought forecasting capabilities of research institutions in the region so that farmers know when it's best to plant. At the same time, USAID is pursuing efforts under the OECS Commission's program to educate communities and local stakeholders about climate change impacts and steps that can be taken to adapt to these impacts. A key feature of this program is the development of demonstration models addressing different aspects of the adaptation process. These include the restoration of mangroves, coral reefs, and other coastal habitats, shoreline protection projects, and water conservation initiatives. Here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 2 initiatives focusing on the water sector are planned and are at various stages of implementation. Under an agreement with the World Meteorological Organization and in partnership with CIMH, a regional climate center will be established for the Caribbean that will be capable of providing tailored climate and weather services to support adaptation and enhance disaster risk reduction region-wide. The center will improve climate and weather data collection regionally to fill critical information, monitoring, and forecasting gaps that will allow us to better understand and predict climate impacts.
According to the USAID Mission Director, though they recognize a lot of work has been done in disaster risk reduction and response, there's much more that remains to be done.
We see a growing need to rebuild damaged infrastructure with more resilient structures, to improve coordination across agencies, and to better educate Caribbean citizens about climate change. However, we also see considerable progress. Going forward, we hope to build on this momentum and take advantage of existing capacities and efforts with renewed hope for what is possible, given what we have already achieved together. The long-term sustainability of the Caribbean region is of vital interest to the United States, both economically and environmentally. As close neighbors and as regional partners, we have a vested interest in contributing to a prosperous, stable, and climate-resilient future where the people and countries of the Caribbean continue to flourish.
Meanwhile, in his feature address at the event, Prime Minister Dr. Ariel Gonzalez pointed out that the very existence of islands' civilizations is under serious threat by climate change. He says it therefore means that the matter has to be taken more seriously and put at the center stage of all developmental efforts.
The world is a small place. And we contribute very little to global warming, but yet we are on the front lines of continuing disasters. I want first to urge us that we should build on existing work which has been done and not to treat the matter as an academic exercise, to traverse the terrain which has already been tilled.
The seminar will continue tomorrow with a group discussion at the NIS conference room and a media tour for local and regional journalists to the leeward side of the island, facilitated by the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. A document has been produced for future technicians being trained in using methods for repairing refrigerators without harming the ozone layer. This was pointed out by trainer and the consultant Gary Peters. He was at the time speaking at cocktails last evening, which included a certification ceremony for trained technicians under the hydrochlorofluorocarbon phase-out management plan.
Hydrochlorofluorocarbon phase-out management plan, or the HPMP, for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as indicated, is a project document outlining the strategy that we're going to use to rid St. Vincent and the Grenadines of the non-ozone friendly refrigerants and technologies that exist presently, and replacing them with alternatives that promotes the ideals of the Montreal Protocol for ozone layer preservation. The project is built on 5 major components, of which the component of training has acquired the major portion of the budget.
Last evening's event was held to mark International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. It also included the signing of partnership agreements between the National Ozone Unit, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, and the private and public sector partners. A World Ozone Day fair is expected to be held here on Friday at the Methodist Church Hall from 10:30 a.m. This country's new Taiwanese ambassador was for the first time out in an official capacity yesterday, having arrived here last Friday. The new ambassador, Bo Xuan-Ge, and the Taiwanese embassy held a reception and a cocktail last evening at the Beachcombers Hotel to officially welcome the 2014 Taiwanese ambassador's delegation to this country. The delegation comprises 17 males and females. Ambassador Ge says he is convinced that the cultural exchange between the youth is conducive to the enhancement of the understanding and cooperation between the people of Taiwan and this country.
The Youth Ambassadors Program is aimed to forge lasting friendship with the people from different cultural backgrounds, so who will in turn gain a better understanding of all that Taiwan has to offer. This year, the delegation of youth ambassadors we have here comprises 17 college students with majors in art, music, dance, and some other fields from prestigious universities in Taiwan. They underwent rigorous training for 45 days before embarking on a three-week tour of San Francisco, Los Angeles, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent. St. Vincent is the last stop, and their performance this afternoon at the community college was a finale of their tour. I'm glad that the students of the community college also joined the delegation in performing music and dance to showcase Vincentian culture.
Head of the Taiwanese ambassador delegation, Shi Kang Lee, says it is an honor for the youth ambassadors to be provided with the opportunity to visit this country.
They come to promote youth and cultural exchanges. I hope you all enjoyed the stage performance given by the youth ambassadors this afternoon at the St. Vincent and Grenadines Community College, and gain a better appreciation of Chinese culture and the richness of the Taiwan's multicultural diversity. The visit of the youth ambassadors to your great country also offers a great opportunity for the youth ambassadors to broaden their horizons, to get to know the people, the culture, and the country as a whole, but also to witness the close and friendly relations between our two countries. I'm certain that the youth ambassador's visit to St. Vincent and Grenadines is conducive to the better understanding of our two peoples and will pave the way for the further cooperation of youth and cultural exchanges between our two countries.
Minister of Agriculture Sabodo Caesar was among the government officials and the parliamentarians who were on hand to welcome the Taiwanese youth delegation to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Caesar told the ambassadors that he has great admiration for the work ethics of the Taiwanese.
I am certain that if more young persons in the world, if we can model our work ethic from yours, that we'll definitely be doing better work and more work.
7 students have been selected to participate in the finals of the courts reading competition. The finalists are Rihanna Blake, Petersville Primary School, Anelia Cato, Kingston Preparatory School, Brielle Compton, Beckway Lincoln Primary, Rihanna Harry, Windsor Primary, Cage Jack, Connery Government School, Shamaya James, Beckway 7th Adventist, Zonique Williams, Georgetown Government School, and the finals will take place on Friday, 26 September at the French's House beginning at 9 a.m. The courts reading competition is into its 6th year, and the winner of the local leg will travel to Grenada to compete in the 2014 edition of the courts OECS reading competition. Last year's winner was Kristen Barber of the St. Mary's Roman Catholic School. Well, having served the St. Vincent and the Grenadines for some 7 years now, Fast Cash, formerly Cash Express, has been relocated to a new location. The money lending organization officially opened its new office upstairs, the CAG building in Kingstown, on Monday, September 15th. Country Manager Kevin Jessamy says customers can look forward to even better service.
We boast to deliver loans within 2 to 3 hours. And today is a good demonstration of how successful we have been and will continue to be in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We'd like to say kudos to our CEO and our COO for the vision and foresight in promoting the opening of this new spanking facility.
Feature Speaker, Principal of the Emmanuel High School, Mesopotamia, Curtis Graves, commended Fast Cash for its contribution to national development, specifically in education.
Happy that the Lord is investing Fast Cash to invest in the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I'm very happy with the relationship that we have developed with Fast Cash from Emmanuel High School, Mespo. And I think that St. Vincent and the Grenadines, ladies and gentlemen, is richer today because of this prestigious financial institution that God has blessed us with.